Hey, Facebookers and live streamers, thanks very much for tuning in to today's Freedom Report podcast. If you were watching this show earlier, you know we had some audio issues, so we decided to just scratch it and start all over. That's what happens. We've been making some great upgrades to this studio, and as the Libertarian Republic has been growing and adding to our content network, we just had some growing pains, so apologize for that, and hopefully we're not going to have any of those problems in this show. But if we do, I'm sure we're going to hear from it because y'all little trolls be telling me every single time something goes wrong. Anyways, I'm producing, writing, starring in all of this stuff with very little help except for the lovely Ashley Lewandowski. Thanks very much, Ashley, for helping put together the elements of this show today. My AP for AP, Associate Producer for Austin Petersen. Anyways, so let's talk about the big news of the day. Before we get into the big news, that's Hillary Clinton's health, I want to talk to you guys about the audio podcast that I've been doing over the Libertarian Republic. If you're at all familiar with my work, you must have seen the Freedom Report podcast. These are my audio podcasts. You can download on iTunes. You can download on Stitcher. Check this out. The Freedom Report podcast is the #1 podcast on the Podbean network. There's 132,000 podcasters on podbean.com, a lot of big names, but look who's the biggest. The Freedom Report podcast, you can find us on iTunes or Stitcher. Today's show I did about North Korea and libertarian foreign policy, ideals versus realities, and today's show has already been getting, and look at that, 18,270 downloads, and you can always see all the previous episodes. Yesterday, the last one, Gary Johnson on his Aleppo gaffe, 220,000 downloads of the Freedom Report podcast. That's an amazing number, and I'm really grateful for all the listeners. So don't forget to go out there and check out the the good work that we're doing over on our Freedom Report audio podcast. You're watching our live videos, though, so maybe you're a live video watcher. We're experimenting with all kinds of different media over here to see what it is that you guys really like. So let's talk a little bit about some exciting news. We got some announcements to make. The Stonegate Institute, the Institute for kids who don't liberty good and want to learn how to do other stuff good too. The Stonegate Institute is founded in the wake of my presidential campaign. And the Institute will fight for limited government principles across the United States on the local level. And so I want to talk to you guys about a promotion that we had. I know you guys love the replica of George Washington's flintlock pistol. Well, the exciting news is that we had a contest, and 2 ladies won the replicas that we have. One was, in order to qualify for this, you had to donate at least $25 to the Stonegate Institute. But if you donated over $200 to the Stonegate Institute, then you got 2 entries to win a copy of George Washington's flintlock pistol. So the 2 winners are, 1, Heather Zastro. Heather, thank you very much for your generosity. Thank you so very much for donating to the Stonegate Institute, as well as our second winner, which is Kitty Testa. So Heather Zastrow and Kitty Testa will receive a beautiful replica of our first president's sidearm, which is a beautiful replica, and I hope you guys enjoy that. Heather and Kitty, thank you very much. Moving on to the next topic, I want to talk to you guys. You guys are always asking me what books I'm reading, and right now I'm reading a great book by my friend Kevin Gutzman. It's called James Madison and the Making of America. And I've got another good biography I had been reading, the Thomas Jefferson one. But I picked this one up because I've read hundreds of Thomas Jefferson biographies. And I haven't read much about James Madison, and he was really the author of the Constitution in many ways, as well as the Federalist Papers. James Madison, to me, was a character that I had really not explored. But I've just finished chapter 1, where Gutzman talks about the Virginia Constitution that was ratified during the American Revolution, and how James Madison really codified the religious freedom principles that we enjoy here in the United States. Much of it was codified by James Madison, and that's something that I really am excited to explore. So maybe get a copy of Kevin Gutzman's book. He doesn't even pay me to plug him like that, but I really enjoy it. So I want you guys to check that out and read that along with me, and we can talk about the principles of James Madison as we learn. So, all right, so what are we going to be talking about today? Big news, Hillary fainting. And we're going to talk about this. There's a chance that Hillary Clinton might be replaced. There's all this discussion. Some of it's speculation, but I want to try and stick to the objective reporting. Before we get into it, let's just take a look at the video of Hillary actually fainting. And you guys can see right here, there's her. The van is pulling up to pick her up. And she reportedly has pneumonia, so she's not feeling well. It's very hot in New York. I was actually there in New York City the day that she was giving a speech. Take a look. Now, look, they're supposed to be propping her up, holding her up. Boom, they let her fall over. Now, this is kind of strange. This video is going to loop. I'm going to analyze this for just a moment. Now, look, here's Hillary. She's got like 2 aides there standing with her, one next to her, holding her up, and one behind her. And now, look, we've got a third agent coming to hold her up, and they're just letting her fall down all over the place. Right? You had one job, hold her up, and they let her fall over. So this has raised a lot of concerns about Hillary's health, and I want to discuss with you about the politics of this as well as the humanity of this. Donald Trump even came out and said that he hopes Hillary Clinton gets well soon, and a lot of people made jokes that's because, they're best friends. But whether or not that's true, it doesn't matter, because Hillary Clinton is a human being. She's a mother. And people, when you have ill health, you don't want to wish ill health on anybody, even your worst enemies, because that's really not the positive, uplifting moral attitude that we want to have as Americans. That's why when we have Olympics, we have Olympians, we may be patriotic, but we also are respectful to our competitors. There was a case of a judo match between the Israeli and an Egyptian Olympian, and the Egyptian Olympian refused to shake the hand of the Israeli who he had lost to, and that's bad sportsmanship. So hating on Hillary Clinton for her health, I think, is bad sportsmanship. And everybody has health issues. The question is whether or not her pneumonia, as is reported, is going to disqualify her from becoming the next president of the United States. So the breaking news is that the DNC may consider an emergency meeting, a secret emergency meeting, to replace Hillary. She may drop out. Now listen to this. The DNC is expected to call an emergency meeting to, quote, consider replacing Hillary Clinton as the presidential nominee, reports broadcast journalist David Schuster. Democratic operatives told Schuster, who is anchored for MSNBC and Al Jazeera, the meeting is coming in response to her pneumonia debacle. The Clinton campaign is under fire after hiding her pneumonia diagnosis for 3 days and revealing it only after startling footage of her collapsing outside a 9/11 memorial service in New York surfaced Sunday morning. Schuster tweeted, "Expect emergency DNC meeting to consider replacement." One of the operatives told Schuster that Clinton is, quote, in uncharted political territory after the pneumonia secret, combined with the fainting video and her recent comment deeming half of Donald Trump supporters as, quote, deplorables. This is the Daily Caller. DNC bylaws stipulate it's up to Clinton whether she withdraws, but if she would withdraw, a DNC delegate told him there is, quote, every indication the committee would push for Vice President Joe Biden as the new nominee. The Sanders camp is reportedly scrambling at the news. There's a really hilarious meme of Bernie Sanders where they caught him on video where he was like running to try and get to some engagement. And so, of course, when they found out that there was a secret meeting, somebody online posted a picture of Bernie Sanders running top speed to try and get the nomination. But of course, we know that the DNC is not going to pick Bernie. He's too principled. He actually believes in what he says. He's not enough of a snake for them. They're not going to be Bernie. Sorry, Bernie bros and burnouts. It's just not going to happen. But it may be Joe Biden and Tim Kaine. We're going to talk about that later in the show. But before we get into that and this on the breaking news, I want to kind of segue just a little bit to talk to you about a story that's going to be published at the Libertarianrepublic.com. This story will come out and be published as soon as this live stream ends. You can find it at the Libertarianrepublic.com. It's the top 5 presidents who had health problems. And it was written by the lovely Aya Katz. Aya is a terrific libertarian writer for the Libertarian Republic, and she has detailed these amazing stories that I had never even heard of some of these, from Andrew Jackson even. But I'm going to read to you the 2 stories that I thought were the most interesting in this, which were the stories of John F. Kennedy and of Woodrow Wilson. So let's pull this up. I think you guys will find this very interesting. Woodrow Wilson, who was president from 1913 to 1921, he suffered a catastrophic disabling stroke while in office in 1919. And nobody, except for his wife, knew about it. His condition was kept a secret from his cabinet, from the vice president, and most importantly, from the public. Wilson is an example of a president whose ill health should have disqualified him from serving. Now, listen to this. His wife, Edith, took over the reins of government in his stead. This was totally unconstitutional. In the event that the president is disabled, nowhere is it stated in the Constitution that his spouse gets to take over. It's this kind of an outcome that the American people need to watch out for. Now, not every illness, no matter how painful or chronic, is disabling. No president should be disqualified simply because they're suffering from a disease, but neurological conditions that can lead to brain death or reduced capacity are the sorts of information the public needs to know. Now, there's a lot more juicy information on Woodrow that you guys are going to have to read over at the Libertarianrepublic.com. So again, as soon as this live stream is over, head over to TLR and look at the top 5 presidents who have experienced health issues. Now let's come back to me. See there? Here I am, guys. Now the next person I want to talk about is this is the clip that gave me so much trouble the last time I did this live stream. But let's just, if we've got any issues, you can let me know. I'm sure you can let me know. Here's JFK. He's popping up. All right. So hopefully his audio is muted and you're not hearing him. You should just be hearing my melodious, beautiful voice, not John F. Kennedy's. So let's take a look here at our next president, John F. Kennedy, in this countdown. Very interesting. You know, we all know he was assassinated, but he also was hospitalized numerous times in his life. He had a lot of early childhood diseases, sports-related injuries. He suffered from spastic colitis. He was on steroids to treat his conditions. He had hypothyroidism, autoimmune deficiency, and Addison's disease. He had a duodenal ulcer. He was on testosterone pills while in the White House. And at the time of his death, and unrelated to the shooting, he was suffering from adrenal inflammation. None of these issues are necessarily indication of disqualifications from serving as president. Being ill in and of itself is not a disqualifier. It's only when the mind is affected that medical issues rise to the point of precluding someone from serving. But a transparent administration ought to share medical facts with the public. So check out top 5 presidents with health issues over at the libertarianrepublic.com, and you guys will get to learn more about the interesting health issues that we've had with our presidents. So let's say goodbye to John F. Kennedy. We're done with that. Now let's get on to the news of the day and finish it up with the big news of the day. That is the possibility that Mr. Tim Kaine might become the next president of the United States if the Democrats manage to pull out a victory. You can see him happy here. He may be even happier right now, depending on whether or not he's kind of a monster or not. We don't really know too much about the psychology of Tim Kaine, although he has been a governor and he has served in government for quite some time. He's kind of like been in the background, at least to compare to the much more flashy Hillary. Now, of course, there is also the next one, the big guy, the big one, Joe Biden. Let's take a look. Joe eating ice cream there. Isn't he cute? You know, of all of the evils that we are faced with, if for some reason Gary Johnson doesn't pull out a win this year, and it had to be between Donald Trump, Pence, Hillary Clinton, and Tim Kaine, is Joe Biden the guy that's going to come in and save us all from Hillary Clinton? Who knows? But it doesn't sound like the worst idea. If the Democrats are already scrambling like this, sounds like at least they're being productive and not trying to go all wild, because honestly, Uncle Joe is popular. For some reason, people just love Joe. Maybe it's all the Onion stories that have been written out of him, like making him look cool with his Trans Am. He's got his sons out, guns out. There's all these great Photoshop pictures of Joe Biden shirtless, and he's like washing off a Trans Am or like drinking a beer. There's even another one where it's great, where he's like hawking pro-Hillary T-shirts outside the DNC, and he gets shut down by the cops. He was on Parks and Rec. Uncle Joe is just lovable, and he's been the vice president, and he's trusted by a lot of the Democratic establishment. So I would not be surprised to see if Hillary Clinton does step down, that they replace Hillary with good old Uncle Joe. And that's the Freedom Report live stream podcast today. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Sorry again about the audio problems that we had before. I hope you guys enjoy these. Again, don't forget to go to libertarianrepublic.com. And one last plug. Remember, if you like the libertarianrepublic.com but you don't like our ads, we're going to try and move away from that system one day. But for now, you have to have a huge audience to not be able to monetize the way that I'm doing. But if you love the libertarianrepublic.com and you want to support good libertarian journalism, you can buy a subscription, a monthly subscription. It's just $5. You know what's really cool about this, guys, is people are like, oh, I hate the ads. But let me just show you this. You're going to like this. This is actually pretty cool. If you come over here and you look at the libertarianrepublic.com, let me show you this. This is pretty sweet. So the libertarianrepublic.com for you guys normally tends to be something where it's like, oh, there's ads everywhere. But you can actually go, when you're signed in, when you're a member of the site, check it out. Over here in the members login, it's really simple. You can just purchase a membership here, and then you log in. Watch this. If you're regular readers of the site, you're going to love this. Boom, no pop-ups, no ads, just a nice, gorgeous website. And check it out. All you got to do, come up here, members login, purchase membership. And look, if you don't like the membership, guys, it's easy. Cancel anytime. Right there. Membership cancel. If you don't like the subscription, if you don't think it's worth it, you can buy either $5 a month or you can save $5 and buy an annual subscription. Then you get our gorgeous site without any ads. And I mean, listen, this is a beautiful website. We're working very hard to grow the movement here to produce good quality journalism, libertarian journalism, and this is the future of the movement. We're going to become the Libertarian Vice magazine. We're going to compete with Reason magazine. We're going to compete with The Blaze. We're just going to have a really awesome network. Anyways, thanks so very much for watching our live stream today, and I appreciate everybody tuning in. If you're watching us on the libertarianrepublic.com, don't forget to click that little subscribe button, and have a fantastic day. Don't forget to come back every single day to your home for economic freedom and personal liberty at the libertarianrepublic.com.